Almost 50 years ago, Starfire, an arcade game designed by Ted Micon and David Rolfe, rolled into arcades. The game was a lot like Star Wars, no relation. It saw you weaving around enemy ships and blasting them. The longer a player could last, the more points the enemy ships were worth. This game actively rewards skill and had a novelty that definitely wasn't going to catch on. For the first time in history, when you finished a run, you signed your name and your initials on a leaderboard. You tagged it.
Yeah, but now your gamer tag, your username or gamer tag for games and Twitch and social media all hold much more weight. Much more weight. There's certain arcades you can still go to back in the day where you can still find some of these old tags, but they're just gone and forgotten.
Many players now had to come up with nicknames, aliases, and call signs so they could hold their position on the Yeah Yeah Beavis leaderboard, and with the rise of online multiplayer games, it became essential to differentiate. How am I supposed to be feared and respected in RuneScape when there's another Poop Butt 3 going around, sullying my reputation? Xbox solved this problem in 2002 when they tagged the name you chose for yourself as a gamer tag. That name became the standard term across all gamers' lingos, and to this day is still the standard. McKay,
Tim,
how'd you get your username?
so I assume you're talking about Metroid McKay, right?
Yes, ma'am.
The latter half of that is pretty self-explanatory. That's just my first name. But I think it wasn't my first gamer tag. I had some other ones when I was really young that were related to like Portal and stuff, and I needed one that really stuck. And at the same time, I was like, man, I also need to find like a game that I really like, and that's when I started playing stuff. And so I decided to I've got a whole eShop on my 3.
That's pretty much what it was back in the day, because back in the day, like when COD and shit was big, people would have crazy usernames, but the usernames were always related to like the game you was playing. So like a lot of people play COD, and the username be like, maybe they live in an area code that's like 678, so it'd be like Godsmack 678, like shit like that. You know what I mean? And but back in the day, your username is much more important now, but it was much more important back then in a different way. Like if you was in a lobby back then, and like somebody like, oh, Godsmack 678 is in here, like, oh shit, we about to get dookied on, right? But now if I'm like, if Godsmack 678 has 1 million followers on Twitch, I'm like, oh, damn, Godsmack 678 isn't here. Now I'm like hype, you know what I mean? Back then it was like, damn, old boy in here,
Yes, I'm gonna see what I can find, and I stumbled upon the Metroid series. I loved its gameplay, but it wasn't until Super Metroid that I really was like, oh, this game's gameplay loop relates to the entire life philosophy that I adhere to, and thus it just felt natural to do a Metroid McKay, and it's a little goofy sounding with the alliteration, and it's my favorite game series for a reason, and I feel like it represents, so Metroid McKay is what I went with.
Gamer tags have developed their own etymology, with letters and combinations denoting different playstyles, histories, and cultural trends. They can be simple, profane, jokes, random stories, and they are the reason the second you join a Bed Wars match, you know if you are going to win or not. Whether or not it's random garbage or thoughtful garbage, these names mean something, and communicate something about you.
Gamer tag, dude, I don't even know mine. Oh, Valentine on this one. I literally named it this one because of what is it called? Oh, Cowboy Bebop. That's it. Yeah, I named it that because of Cowboy Bebop, dude.
Oh, I just made this crap up.
Yeah, well, back then everybody just made theirs up, but now you can't just make one up. Your username has to be similar to your Twitch, similar to your TikTok, similar to your Twitter, similar to your Instagram, similar to your threads, similar to everything,
Honestly, don't even know.
You're telling me gunk in a bag isn't some masterpiece of poetic imagery?
I just came up with it. That's it. I just came up with it.
Your name is Swift Garlic?
That's what it was.
Your name's Swift Garlic?
I have a lot of
So your name's Roaring Raymundo.
Yeah.
How'd you get that name? Your real name is something you grow into. According to research, you may physically change to fit your name. Humans have a thing called implicit egotism as well, which is an unconscious tendency to favor things or act a specific way just because of their name.
Yep.
Like people named Dennis or Denise are more likely to become dentists. A name, in a way, is a self-fulfilling prophecy about your behaviors and physical characteristics. So just imagine what a name you chose for yourself means.
So like my name, the Indie Legend, came from, I was making music, and a guy I was working on a music video with back in the day, he was like, man, your music is like indie as fuck. And when he said that, it kind of just popped. And then I had already been working on changing my usernames online. But see, your username is super important for linking you across everything online. You know what I mean?
How did you pick your tag?
Rare Potato.
Yes, sir.
I think I was playing some game on Roblox when I was a kid. There's an item called Rare Potato, and I thought that was funny.
It was love at first sight.
See what I'm saying? How like people would link their username to like shit that made sense back then, like it related to the game and shit. Like it wasn't just like random shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, and then I didn't know how to spell potato, so I put an E at the end. And that was before I moved to Idaho.
Ooh, so now it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, exactly.
A gamer tag gives you the ability to escape as an avatar, free from labels and perceived responsibilities of real life. It's the ability to live as a new you. And I want to see if there are any trends associated with gamer tags that I can find. So I'm going to use my newly acquired college degree to survey people across many different games. I will be using several different metrics I came up with and attempting to sample around 100 gamer tags from a bunch of different.
Well, I mean, that's easy. You don't need a college degree for that. If it's a kiddie game, people will have kiddie usernames. If it's an FPS shooter, you will see very much more intense usernames. You also got to keep into the fact that usernames now are going to be a lot different because of the rise of Steam. So like you can have a baseline username, but then when you go on Steam, you can change your display name. So people are going to change their usernames now all the time. And now usernames can be fucking whole sentences. It doesn't have to be just a username. So that would make this survey kind of like flawed in a way. You know what I mean?
Games to analyze trends. I will take the username and review it myself and check to see if it's profane, a joke, readable, or just keyboard mashing, how many syllables, if it has numbers, if so, which ones, if it is slang, if it contains no alphabetical or numerical syllables, and lastly, what is its use of capital letters. Also, just a disclaimer, I'm not a statistician or anything. I took a couple of research classes, but it wasn't my focus or anything. So take it all with a grain of salt. While this isn't a large enough sample size for a low margin of error, it could still be useful for some basic insight. So once I have the data, I will take it into a pivot table and begin analyzing. Shut up, bro. This is boring.
This game, you're not ready for it.
Realistically, the only research you need is here. If I go here, I'm already on here. If I exile full screen, if I go here, it is much more easy for somebody to find me when everything says The Indie Legend. TheIndieLegend.com, The Indie Legend YouTube, The Indie Legend SoundCloud, The Indie Legend TikTok, The Indie Legend Twitch, The Indie Legend Tumblr, The Indie Legend Twitter. Right now, if I was to show you, if I reached out to somebody live and asked for a collab gaming, I maybe can go to their Twitch and it would be a different name than their TikTok. At that point, me as a consumer of your product, your live stream, your content is a product. I give up on reaching out to you. If I can't click a link or take your name and post it in another platform and go straight to it, I give up. Now that's why your username is important now. Your username is important now because it's a pseudo face of who you are. Like it's a surface level of who you are, right? If you're Rage God 23, you need to be Rage God 23 on everything because you're the Rage God. Whatever the Rage God means, I need to absorb what that means from your usernames all being the same and from every platform being the same. But see, it's a lot different now, right?
First, I surveyed Minecraft, or more specifically, the Minecraft server Hypixel. I couldn't really find a way to randomly select usernames out of a pool of all the players who have Minecraft, but I figured I would treat this as if I was walking around on the street and just asking people their names. I grabbed the names of the first 100 people I ran across. It's not a perfect system because each lobby could have an unwanted variable in the data, but it's the best we're gonna do for the time being. But I found some cool information. Based on my findings, if a Minecraft tag contains a number, there's a 20% chance it is the number 2. The distribution of numbers is also very interesting. Minecraft usernames are also on average 4 syllables and usually contain both capital and lowercase letters. My favorite gamer tag I found was Horseboy Roid Rage. So if you're watching this, Horseboy, I would love to hear the story. Next, I wanted to take a look at Counter-Strike, but this time I wanted to look for something a bit.
And I can almost guarantee Counter-Strike names are going to be a lot more thought out. They're going to be longer, of course, because the game he was just talking about has a lot more kids. They're going to be longer and they're going to be more aggressively formatted. The way they sound, the words in them, the things they're saying in the username. But also, Counter-Strike, keep in mind, like what I said, he's talking about usernames. In Counter-Strike, sometimes you'll see a lot of display names. So that's going to skew his survey a different way. And also, you're talking about adults. So that's going to skew his survey a different way. But you'll see, he says on an average in Roblox or Minecraft, sorry, there's an average of 4 letters. Pretty much, that's it. You'll see, it's going to be longer.
Bit more specific than I did with Minecraft. I wanted to see if someone's gamer tag could predict their ranking. So I painstakingly inputted data by analyzing the Premier leaderboard and found some very interesting things. Usernames that have no capital letters or only capital letters perform significantly better than gamer tags with a mix of the two. On average, usernames who stick to only one case of letters ranked about 1,000 places higher on the leaderboard than those without. Now, do I think capital letters are...
In my opinion, I think that's because those guys who are high in the leaderboards, who grind CSGO, don't give a fuck about their username. They can call themselves Turtle Dick Shit Fuck Squad 003 for all they care. But when they get in that game, they're one of the top, 1% to play. They're not, a lot of Counter-Strike players aren't worried about being content creators. They want to be good at the game in the community because the community opinion matters to them, not the whole worldwide opinion. So that could skew the creating of the usernames there a little bit.
Gonna magically make you better at Counter-Strike? Maybe. One possible explanation is the age of the accounts. It's possible older accounts on average were more conforming to either one case due to popular naming conventions of that time, and as such, players with more experience may be remnants of that age. Another explanation that I think might be a bit more fun to consider is that this commitment to the case of letters comes from a player's general attitude. Many of the greatest players followed this naming habit, and by emulating them with your gamertag, perhaps you're emulating them in other ways, like through studying or mimicking their playstyle. Now, I can't prove this for a fact, nor will I try to, but as a professor of mine once said, there's always a story within data, and maybe this is that story. Alright. How did you get your username, Worm Pimple?
Let me tell ya. 7th grade, lunch, 12th, maybe? No, doesn't matter. I was outside with the old friendos right after it rained. It was raining all day. Lunch cleared up. We went outside. Worms littered all over the cement. Of course, I had this nasty pimple covered with a pimple patch. It's big and it was like one of those really sore, hurting ones. I took off the patch because it was really itchy, right? We found a big fat worm and we popped it with said worm. We wrapped it. It is disgusting and it got horribly infected like 2 days later.
But I don't know. It seems to be, I guess he's going against the grain of what I thought, because a lot of people were telling how they have got usernames or have nothing to do with like popular opinion or social media or anything like that. They just have like personal stories, which is pretty much the most user base aren't content creators. So I guess now that makes sense that most people will have these kind of back childhood stories of how they got usernames, because a lot of people have been gaming since they've been young. So, I guess, yeah.
It was horrible.
Wait, you put the worm around your pimple?
You got horribly infected. You know the weirdest part about it all?
What?
None of that happened. That was Josh. Yeah,
Did you make that thing all up right now?
I did.
I was like, that is the most disgusting, cruel thing you could do to a creature.
No. No.
My gamertag has been an interesting thing that has changed a lot over the years. When I was a lot younger, me and my cousin came up with Mimit, which is an anagram of Timmy. Then, when I started getting into the competitive Smash Brothers scene, I wanted something really cool. And of course, I came up with, this is really embarrassing, Paniac. But at my first Smash Brothers tournament, the announcer mispronounced it as Picnic. And that's when my somewhat current gamertag of Picnic Basket arose like a phoenix out of...
See what I'm saying about how like a lot of people's gamer tags came from that one moment of inspiration. So he got called Picnic on accident, and he was like, "Fuck it." If everybody probably at the tournament was like, "Yo, Picnic was good," people calling him Picnic, so he just rolled with Picnic. That's the same thing that happened with me with Indy. You know, I got called Indy one time, and it was just like that moment of inspiration. It was just like, that makes sense, you know. And a lot of times when you get these names, it's just something that happens in the real world life, because you kind of don't want to name yourself, but then like a boost of a burst of inspiration happens, and it just kind of just sticks on you, so you roll with it, and those names I think feel a lot more comfortable, you know.
the ashes of a barf-worthy name. Barf-worthy would be a pretty good gamer tag. Each of these names became an identity in the different spaces and times of my life, and even their care and reasoning reflected where I was at that point. And that's what a gamer tag is. It's a name you choose for yourself to show who you are going to be in this digital landscape, and that's something that I think is pretty special. So comment your gamer tag below. I'd love to hear the story. Was there a reason? Was it random? Was it just something that got stuck on by your parents or whatever? Is it a secret alter ego that you evade every day hoping you won't become? Or was it just keyboard mashing? I want to hear it, because I can't be the only one with the embarrassment of Paniac. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, feel free to bonk the like button. Okay, goodbye.
That was a good video. I like it. I'm gonna link it down below once I get the YouTube video up. Yeah, I think like I said, gamer tag, gamer name, usernames, gamer names, gamer usernames, however you want to say it. Your in-game name is very important. It is very important. For me, I have gotten very far off of my username because it's unique, and that's you know, I know he's talking about it one way and I'm talking about it another. I think he's talking about it more statistics and why it matters from a general sense. To me, your username, your in-game name in 2026 only matters if you are a content creator. If you are not a content creator, people will not remember your username anymore unless you do something big like Destroyer 2029, 26, whatever the fuck his username was, that completely ran through Apex servers when it came to cheating. People remember his name, or 2009, sorry, Destroyer 2009. I remember that because of an action he did. But outside of that, I won't remember any normal players, any everyday average player's username, unless I see it over and over again. And maybe I'm in a game with you and you keep throwing my games, then I'm going to remember you because you're doing an action. So for me, the important thing about having a username is people are remembering me. You know what I mean? They're going to say the indie legend, no matter if it's a good or a bad way. Once you keep seeing that username and it's the same username, and maybe somebody looks me up and they click on me and then they go to my website. So they load up my website and they're like, oh, the indie legend. And they see everything is the indie legend. They will remember me. And it's that easy to click on a button, open it up. Oh, this is him, because it's the same username. And then they can have the choice to follow me or not. So now in 2026, I think usernames are way more important than they ever have been and ever were back in the day, right? You just got to have a unique username, and you know it has to make sense. You know, I don't know. I guess it has to go with your brand. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I don't know. Every main like really big gamer, their username just like means something, and it holds some type of weight in some way. And if you're a content creator, you gotta have a username that's applicable across all platforms. Kai Sanat, iShowSpeed, Scump, you know what I'm saying, Imperial How, all the fucking greats, Tfue, Ninja, Shroud, right? All got the same username across all platforms. These names hold weight. These are their in-game name. When you get in a game and you see Shroud is in your game, you know he's gonna fuck some shit up, right? Now, if you see Shroud the Basilisk, oh, that ain't Shroud. That's some fucking random Shroud fan. You're not. It doesn't hold the same weight. You're not thinking about it the same way. But yeah, great video. I'm gonna link it. Get the video up on YouTube, and I'll be live again tomorrow. So, peace.